Y'all, let's cut to the chase, okay? WWE has a massive glazing issue, and it needs to be talked about effective immediately, okay? I've never actually sat here and seen an era of wrestling in which WWE has to sit there every single week and tell you how great everybody is. It's the same thing for pretty much everybody, and we're going to go down that list later, obviously starting with Dr. Libations, you know what I'm saying? Cody Rhodes has to be told to us how much he's loved, and I respect you. I love you. I appreciate you, Cody. I'm so proud of you, Cody. Like, why does Randy Orton have to belittle himself? A legend like Randy Orton, a first ballot Hall of Famer like Orton, has to belittle himself to uplift Stardust. Right, like this is the place that we're at. So, here it is. But before we get into this absolute rant, this discussion talking about how WWE is in their glazing era pretty much, okay, I have to address something, okay? The video yesterday and the video before that, I didn't remind you guys that I can't stop thinking about Punk. You know what I'm saying? I have to throw that in there for you guys, okay? Now, with that being said, let's jump into this rant. Now, the first main issue is the simple fact that the glazing here is just unprecedented. I mean, it truly it truly is unprecedented, okay? This is arguably the softest era of wrestling, like, ever, okay? And this is for multiple reasons. Number one, no one wants to get better, and we see this week to week. No one really wants to be great. If they wanted to be great, you would see your WWE champion and your World Heavyweight champion doing anything they possibly can to get themselves more over, to improve on the mic, to improve in the ring, to come up with new ideas for their merchandise, right? And to wrestle more, to build these feuds as best as they can be, to be unfiltered on the mic, all of these things. But you don't see any of that. You have your WWE Women's Champion in Tiffany Stratton, who clearly is green in the gills and has no idea what she's doing on that mic and is botching multiple moves in the ring that could get her hurt. You understand? And she comes out there and gets destroyed by Charlotte in an interview segment. And the following week, which was 2 days ago on SmackDown, she proceeds to cut another boring, generic, and garbage promo. She makes a mistake and doesn't improve from it at all. Has no drive to get better at all on the mic. Nothing. Acknowledges the criticisms, acknowledges the flaws, and does nothing to fix them. Because in this fan base now, in this current stage of WWE, with the glazing from Triple H and with the fans who have no idea what quality looks like, it feels like every fan now, like the majority of the mainstream audience now, is just a bunch of people, right, who were like born in 2013, right? They started watching wrestling fully understanding it at when they were like 8 years old. The first match that they saw and actually understood was like some random SmackDown match between like Sonya Deville and like Liv Morgan, or like some jobbers going at it. Like, they don't know what any of this stuff even looks like for it to actually be great. They haven't seen stuff like the Ruthless Aggression era, even parts of the early PG era, even, the Attitude era stuff, etc. They haven't seen any of that stuff. Stuff you can easily look up on YouTube or watch on Peacock. They haven't seen it, so they don't know greatness. So when Tiffany Stratton comes out there and she's like, Tiffy time, Tiffy time, Tiffy time, everyone's like, oh, Tiffy time, Tiffy time, Tiffy time. Or you get the chance in, European crowds, Cody Rhodes, Cody Rhodes. We are bots. We are bots. It's like, dude, come on, man. It gets to a point where we have to be honest with ourselves and just recognize that these people do not want to be great. Cody Rhodes is the WWE champion, and he's wrestled maybe 2 matches all year. We're 4 months in. We're about to be 4.5 months in until Mania 41, and he's wrestled 2 matches. This is embarrassing. You understand? There's no excuse for this. If Cody Rhodes really wanted to politic and, negotiate his way into giving himself more opportunities to cook on the mic, and to giving himself more opportunities to cook in the ring and prove why he's the best in the company, prove why he's the quote-unquote quarterback, you know what I'm saying, as Gunther calls him, then he would actually make way for himself to do that. You understand? But he doesn't. He doesn't have any type of ability to get any of that stuff done. So now we're stuck with garbage, okay? And even though this stuff is bad, we have to be constantly told that it's great. The glazing from Triple H and WWE in terms of telling us how great things are when they're clearly not that good is just becoming egregious at this point. When someone or something or some company has to constantly tell you how great they are, they're usually not that great. It's the same thing in real life, right? The one person we always knew growing up, like when you were in school, or even if you're at work, wherever, the one guy or the one girl, whoever, is always like, oh, I'm such a great guy, I'm such a great girl, I'm an uplifter, I'm a positive impact, I'm this, I'm so great, I've done this, I've done that. They're usually not that great. We know this. This is just how it works. When you're great at something, or you're really talented at something, or you're helping people, or you're doing amazing things, you don't always have to publicize it and tell everyone how how great it is, because now it makes you look like a liar if you're proven incorrect, obviously. And on top of that, it creates unreal standards and narratives that are just built off of nothing. And if you don't live up to those narratives, it's going to cause people to walk away from the product. And that's just what's happened. That's why Raw on Netflix started off with around 6 million viewers globally, and now globally you're struggling to pull 3 million. Like, that's just how it works. You get promised one thing with Roman and Cena being there and The Rock and Cody and all these people, and then all of a sudden the following week you're getting Penta versus Pete Dunne. This is a joke. And look, don't get me wrong, every other PLE or every 2 or 3 PLEs, mainly your SummerSlams, your Manias, obviously, a Royal Rumble here and there, maybe your Survivor Series, like, you'll have a great moment here and there, throughout some of the PLEs throughout the entire year, because they have like 15 of them now. You get what I'm saying? But in between that, on the Raws, on the SmackDowns, think about the last like 10 months, for example, the last 10, 11 months. What amazing promo segments have we had on Raw? What amazing promo segments have we had on SmackDown? Amazing matches, what I'm saying? Amazing segments, amazing storytelling, amazing builds. Like, where have these elements to WWE been on Raw and SmackDown over the last year? They've been nowhere to be found. Now, don't get me wrong. You'll have a thing here, like Drew and Punk, they had a good feud, You'll have a segment here or there where Punk does something great, or Rollins has a good segment here or there. You have moments here and there. You get what I'm saying? But overall, it's a consistency of 11 months of storytelling and build and PLEs and shows, Raws and SmackDowns, live events, all that stuff. What does WWE really have to show for any of it? Who can you point to and be like, wow, that person was doing absolutely phenomenal work? Because it should be multiple people, because apparently this is the best the roster's ever been, allegedly. So you should be able to run down the list of like 10 to 15 people that have been doing amazing work for a year now, right? But you can't. You can look at maybe Drew McIntyre. You can look at Punk, maybe. And what else can you look at? Cody Rhodes hasn't done anything. Gunther hasn't done anything. Roman Reigns has barely been there. Seth Rollins was barely there. He was in and out. What has anybody done? They're not doing anything. You're not getting these amazing premium level segments and matches and stories and stuff like that consistently on Raw and SmackDown. You're getting boring, monotonous, and routine garbage shows with the same segments and the same matches and the same brawl beatdowns for every Mania build. But you're getting told how amazing it is, but you're not seeing it be great. And that's the crux of the argument. This company is lying over and over again and glazing everything, even though it sucks. You just have to think about it realistically for a second, okay? If in any other eras that were much better than this era, like Ruthless Aggression or Attitude Era, for example, okay? In the Attitude Era, did anyone have to remind you that, hey, we're in a big business boom. We're in a big Attitude Era right now. You know what I'm saying? We're in an era where all the ticket sales are great. The gates are great. We're selling out this. We're saving this. We're doing this. No one had to say any of that stuff. You just knew you were in something special. You're consuming something special. You're consuming something amazing, some excellent content. You just knew what was happening, right? When John Cena was doing his thing and becoming, one of the greatest of all time over the years, no one was on commentary until recently, like the last few years, saying that he was one of the greatest of all time. Before that, when Cena was in his prime, nobody was calling him the greatest of all time. Nobody was saying John Cena is becoming a legend of the industry. No one was saying all of these things. And, it's the same thing with Roman Reigns. He has arguably the greatest championship reign in the history of WWE, right? And this dude, when did you ever hear any of these commentators until like the latter days of his reign? They're like, yeah, Roman Reigns is the GOAT, yada, yada, yada. But no one on the actual mic in promo segments went up to Roman Reigns and was like, wow, I respect you, Roman. I love you, Roman. I need you, Roman. I appreciate you, Roman. You're the greatest champion of all time. The big boom is on your back, right? Roman Reigns just finally on SmackDown had to address the fact that the carrying of the company that's taken place over the last 5 years has largely been on his back. He finally had to address it himself because no one else tells him in these promos. But for some reason, Cena didn't get the preferential treatment of people saying he's great in the ring, or, calling him one of the greatest of all time on the mic, or people in a promo segment with him telling him how great he is. Roman didn't get that treatment either. The Attitude Era didn't get that treatment with Rock and Austin. None of those people. But somehow, Stardust, Cody Rhodes, Dr. Libations, Libation Station, whatever you want to call him, undashing Cody Rhodes, this dude has to be constantly told in ring on promos how great he is. This is so unrealistic and so fabricated. This is so fake. In what world does the WWE champion have to be babied and coddled and protected to the level that this dude is protected to? It's embarrassing. Why would Randy Orton, who is a first ballot Hall of Famer, have to sit there and say that Cody Rhodes has surpassed anything he's accomplished in his entire career? A 14-time world champion is saying that to a one-time world champion? Really? Triple H says the same thing about Cody, how he's carried the industry, he's a model citizen, he's this, he's that. It's like, grow up. The Rock was saying on the Raw premiere of Netflix, he's like, Cody Rhodes, thank you for carrying this company on your back for a year now. Really? When his own cousin Roman Reigns was champion, he wasn't saying any of that, but now he's saying it for Cody Rhodes. Gunther, in their Built to Crown Jewel, Gunther talks about oh, well, Cody, you are the quarterback. The big boom is on you. The big boom, which this big boom, again, is just a lie. The viewership is down. The merch sales are down. WWE TKO, the shareholders of the company, right? They reported that WWE had a profit loss so far in the first quarter of this year. But somehow business is booming and it's on 99% of it is on Cody's back, according to Orton. Well, I guess 99% of this failing numbers and these failing content with its garbage over the last 3 or 4 months has been, I guess it's on Cody's back since he's been champion since a year ago. So it just doesn't work. It's all double standards. It's the same thing with CM Punk crying, okay? Congratulations to the actual person, Phil Brooks, for main eventing night 1 of WrestleMania, right? But it's like, dude, it gets to a point. You know that when CM Punk is talking about, hey, I want to main event Mania, I want to win world title gold, CM Punk is envisioning himself as finally getting ready to be, the final match on the card, the main event of night 2, winning a championship in front of the whole world. That's what he envisions as, hey, I finally got my chance to main event. Not main eventing a night 1 meaningless triple threat match with versus Roman and Seth for nothing. That's not what Punk wanted, and we know that's not what Punk wanted because he said that on multiple occasions, off-screen and on-screen in his promo segments. So getting a night 1 main event and then crying for it, and then us as fans being told to cry and be emotional about it is just embarrassing. It is embarrassing at this point. Everything is so soft. These people who have done absolutely nothing but are getting incredible chances are just getting praised. And Rhea Ripley, it's the same thing. For some reason, because of, goons on the internet who are like obsessed with Rhea Ripley and the fact that the fans are obsessed with her too, in the actual arenas, and Triple H is obsessed with her apparently as well, we have to watch her get forced and booked into a triple threat women's world championship match that she has zero business being inside of. What is the purpose of this? Rhea Ripley, who's wrestled, 5 or 6 Raw matches in the last 400 to 500 days? And she's being praised as a top talent on the roster based off of what? What great promos has she cut for the last 2 years? What great promos has she done at all? What stories has she built? What feuds has she had that she's been the amazing part of that feud? None. But we're told that Rhea Ripley is the best women's wrestler in the world, and she's going to go around as an all-time great in the women's division? What is this based off of? Nothing is based off of anything anymore. It's the same thing with this Mania build, okay? Last year, before Mania 40, but Mania 40 had just finished, right? This is like a week later, and Triple H was already talking about how Mania 41, we're going to do it even bigger. It's going to be even better. It's going to be even bigger. Fina. And now look at you. Mania 41 is arguably one of the worst built 2 Manias of all time. In comparison, last year, we had one of the best built 2 Manias of all time, and now we have one of the worst. All on the back of Triple H and his lies. You have night 1, you're still missing 6,000 to 7,000 tickets still haven't been sold, and we're 3 weeks from the event. Night 2, you're still missing 3 to 4. How many thousands of tickets are still haven't been sold yet for the pay-per-view? Why do you think that this is what it is? You can't even sell out a 50,000 person stadium. Last year, you were selling out 70,000 people. I was there. I was in person. I saw it myself. Why do you think this is? And the fact is that you have everybody is here. We're glazing. We're saying how great everything is, the big boom, all this stuff. And guess what? The same roster of talent you had last year to make Mania 40 as great as it was, the same people you have, you know what I'm saying? You have the same people this year, plus CM Punk and plus John Cena being active participants in this Mania build and in these Mania matches, and you still are getting decreased viewership. You still are struggling to sell out arenas. Even when you're going to Europe, you're still struggling to do that. And you still are losing interest, and you're having fans complain all over the internet and all over the world about how bad this Mania build is and how many contradictions there are and how this doesn't make sense and that doesn't make sense and the Royal Rumble was wasted. The Chamber was wasted. What's happening with Rhea? What's happening with Cody and Cena? Why have they not said anything to each other, cut deep on the mic yet versus each other verbally? Things of that nature. This is all goes to show you that the glazing has gone off the rails. When you glaze something and consistently tell everyone how great it is, despite you actually showing us how great it is, people start to tune out because they realize it's a lie. It's the same example I talked about with the Raw Netflix premiere. You can't show us Roman Reigns and The Rock and Cena and Cody and Rollins and Punk and all these people, you know what I mean? These great crowds and all this stuff. And then the following week you have Penta versus Pete Dunne, and the main event is Finn Balor versus Damian Priest, part 15 billion. It's a joke. No one's falling for the trick anymore. At the end of the day, the true quality of the product will eventually prevail. People will be able to see the truth behind what they're being told. And when they realize that they're being told about quote unquote record numbers and sellouts and gates and the viewership and the merch sales and all this other stuff, and all of it is all contradicted by the fact that in reality, they're all lies. The views aren't up. The merch sales aren't up. The profits aren't up. You know what I'm saying? The profits on the street profits are up and they want the smoke, but their theme song sucks now, obviously. You get what I'm saying? But still, the actual narratives that we're being told to are garbage. Cody Rhodes being a fighting champion, but he's got 7 title defenses in a year as champion, as a full-time competitor? And we're supposed to sit here and believe this garbage? Nah. Not gonna happen, man. We see the lie. The fans are starting to see the lie, and it's all becoming a farce. And once you realize that you are taking place and seeing a absolute farce, that's when you have millions of people globally starting to tune out, become disengaged, and start complaining about how bad this Mania build has been and how upset and discontent the crowd and the audience is overall in the world with the product today. And this is why last year on Fox alone, you would get 2.6 million viewers for a SmackDown leading up to Mania. And now globally, you can barely get 2.9 million views. This is a self-explanatory disaster. The glazing has gone off the rails at this point. Everything is told to us that it's great, but we're not seeing any proof of it. We're not seeing any proof of these amazing storylines, these amazing, wrestling matches, these amazing builds, these amazing emotional moments, these amazing entrances. All these entrances now suck. It's just a bunch of Def Rebel garbage. You don't even know who's coming out half the time. It's all a farce, and it's all a lie, and it's full of glaze and absolute and utter lies and trash. And that is the point of this video, and the point has been made, and hopefully the point has been taken. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Thank you guys so much for your support. And as always, I thank you guys so much for watching. Have a phenomenal day. Peace out and one love.